crazy. Please clean up. Oh God. Luke, you're a wild man. You're a wild man. Good to be back between the cold snap weather outside, bunch of snow, Christmas, sick dog, wife's not feeling well, Luke's not feeling well, the cold in here with the furnace out of commission. I haven't gotten to much work in the shop here lately, but I've got to get this gland in here. I tried a couple times. I did put a bit of a chamfer here. Maybe I almost put too much of a chamfer. It tends to still pop that O-ring out and take just a little skiff off. So I've got, I think, one more after this. So I'm hoping that, you know, a bunch of lubra plate here, that'll do the trick. Because otherwise I'm out of ideas. And I did try to kind of press it in slowly, and that didn't seem to really work. So I think I need to almost just bop it in quickly. So I'm going to try that this time. Okay. Wish me luck. That'll work. That'll work. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it went that time. And I see again a skiff of rubber. I just don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I'd be tempted to leave it if this wasn't welded together. The goal here is to kind of shallow out this angle on the chamfer, because it was more like a 45, and I think it was leaving too much room for the O-ring to squirt out before it pushed in. So I've just kind of shallowed it out some. Hopefully it works. Okay, this is the last one. This is going in whether it looks good or not. I mean, unless it looks really horrible, but basically this is going in. This is whatever it is. If it leaks, I'm right back where I was anyway. And then I'll just try and redouble my efforts to find a good used cylinder. How about that? Today, just got this on Christmas Eve actually, all the way from Middleton, Nova Scotia. Piston Twisted Garage. Best name on YouTube for any automotive vlogger, hands down. And I mean, what a design. Look at that's awesome. This is a great looking sticker, and I'm very proud to display this on the YouTube channel side cabinet. Put it right there, make sure it's nice and level. check him out on YouTube, Piston Twisted Garage. Just such a nice guy. Always gives me great advice for improving my channel and ideas, and just awesome to talk to. And he serves in Canada's military. So thanks, Mark. I love it. Have a great day. If you've been following along the story of my attempt to conquer this Everest, you know that we did a compression test and we found that it had compression, and that was good. And we found some spark, and that was good. And I went through the carburetor and cleaned it up and put it on, and didn't really want to run. It would run on my cousin Daryl's second favorite beverage, starting fluid, but just a hiccup, and that was it. So my first instinct, as far as a culprit, is my skill level. So I pulled the carburetor back off and opened it up. Well, I missed something. There's a pilot jet inside the Mikuni carburetor, and it's just a little tiny brass piece. It has a tiny little orifice in it, and that controls your fuel flow from closed to quarter throttle. So kind of around startup, fairly important actually, and it was totally plugged. So I cleaned that up, I put it back into the carburetor, and I also found a gasket that I had neglected to place underneath the needle valve, which in turn would have made the floats ride too high. And in any case, once I put it together with the gasket, I actually checked the measurement, and they were already too high, so they would have been way too high. All right, so here's our mighty Mikuni VM34, and actually our pilot jet sits way down in there. It's I don't know, about half an inch down there, so it's easy enough to miss. Yeah, 3/4 of an inch. And there's our float arm that I adjusted up to sit at a more correct level. So that will hopefully take care of things. With parts I already had on hand, I actually didn't have to buy anything for this, which is pretty nice. I think for now, I'm going to leave these vent tubes off. There's just really no reason. They're pretty crusty. They need to be replaced. So we're just going to leave it. I've learned a few things about this Mikuni carb in the meantime, and one of the more interesting things I think is this needle. There's a series of grooves in that end of the needle, and so you can position that C-clip, and that will kind of affect how far down into this main jet. Okay, so this is called the jet needle, and no, this is the needle jet, and this is the jet needle. And the further the jet needle goes into the needle jet, the less fuel will come out. So that kind of controls your half to 3/4 fuel flow, or even quarter to half. The position of this within there, and then as it comes up, it allows obviously more fuel to come out. And it comes up based on the position of your throttle valve. And I honestly don't really remember how this all was oriented. Alright, so here you can see as I move the throttle, it's opening the air valve inside, and you can see the needle there. It's pulling it out of the needle jet. And as it comes out, it allows more fuel in. Once it's fully out, it basically has no effect on the needle jet at all. And fuel metering is all done by the main jet down in the bottom here. That's your full throttle, like 3/4 to full throttle jet. That's the one that's commonly changed because you spend a lot of time operating in that range. And if you run too lean, you will burn holes in your pistons and all kinds of good stuff like that. We also have our idle control here. This controls the idle speed. There's just a ramp on that cylinder, so as we extend that into the body of the carburetor, it can't close as much, and so your idle speed comes up. I've got it kind of adjusted out so that this thing doesn't take off if it does decide to run. I'll get it installed here, and then we'll give it a test. Alright, so I've filled the bowl with fuel. Basically emptied out my little bottle. Because we don't have a means of priming this currently, because all our fuel lines are toast, I am going to give it a little shot of ether, and we'll see if that works. The nice thing is having this little bit of fuel in it, it can't really take off too far. It's the theory. Okay. Ooh, hello. Running this long on just a ball. Well, I really can't complain about that now, can I? Nothing too earth-shattering tonight. Just bought some fuel lines, so I'm going to replace all these lines. That's about it. Clean out the tank maybe. And then should be able to run it on its own without a weird bottle like before. So just looking in here, both of the fuel pickup tubes are off. I pulled this one out, and of course the grommet is so decayed and hard it just ripped, so I'm going to, I guess, have to get some of those. I don't know if I'll have any better luck with this one. Everything's just, yeah, same, even worse. Everything's just so old, rotten. So that'll have to be done, I guess. But I can still carry on with this side, at least for now. I can kind of see some like a filter down there and maybe some tubes or something, and I don't really understand. One of them is for reserve fuel and one is for the main supply, so I don't really, but they both go into the same tank, so I don't quite understand the gist there. If there's one side is a little lower and that's the reserve, or I don't really get it, so I'll have to do some research on that. Here's our pickup. Yeah. That's gross. That's metal though. I guess that's the other pickup. I guess that's all going to have to be cleaned out somehow, but not right now. Of these blue lines you see here are our new fuel lines. So right up to the pump and carburetor. I did not bother yet with the reserve lines here for the reserve system, simply because it's not hooked up and I just don't really care right now. I just want to see if it'll run and if the fuel pump works and so on. And obviously Our pickup here is still a problem, but I'm just going to put a hose on here and drop it into a jerry can of fuel, and that should give the system a good test. If that works, then I'll carry on with cleaning out the fuel tank and all that good stuff. And actually just had a look. Well, I had looked some time ago, but still holding coolant, which is good. It actually had pressure just now. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep carrying on, plugging away, and see how far we get.